Happy Saturday to you, Notre Dame fans. The last Saturday before the Sugar Bowl, because this thing is really 4 days away now. I'm all messed up, Jack.
Yeah. Is it like a Wednesday or Tuesday?
I could have told you happy Monday, and I would have believed it. Maybe some of y'all would have believed it. The holidays get you all messed up. But what we do know is in the next 4 or 5 days, Notre Dame is playing its biggest football game of the season. Every single game from here on out, for as long as the Fighting Irish keep playing, is their biggest game of the season. There are some injury concerns Notre Dame had going into this one. We got to watch about half an hour, I would say, of practice. Most of that just included stretching. But, Jack, we were really only out there to look at some personnel things because there's some players from both sides of the ball that we want to know who's on the right track to play in that aforementioned Sugar Bowl. I'll start it off with, I believe Rocco Spindler is. It looked like he was lining up as the starting right guard as usual, status quo. We only saw some position drills, so the offensive line going against some scout team guys. Really, it was tackle guard, and then on the other side, tackle guard, and then you saw center guard as well. When Pat Coogan lined up, obviously, as the number one center, Rocco Spindler right there next to him as the right guard, and he was with Emil Wagner, the right tackle as well. So that is business as usual. On the defensive side of the ball, for a couple games now, we have not seen Kyngstonn Viliamu-Asa. What's the latest there, Jack?
Yeah, not optimistic on Kyngstonn Viliamu-Asa. After today, he wore full pads. I had a bit large but soft brace on his right knee, not immobilizing, kind of like we've seen him wear in the past few weeks. But he participated in individual drills, like the stack and shed stuff on the blocking sled that the linebackers do. Once they went into like the 7-on-7 run-throughs of their coverages with the linebackers, safeties, corners, and nickel, he was kind of behind everyone, kind of walking through the different linebacker assignments. So it didn't look like he was rotating in with Jack Kaiser, Jalen Sneed, Drake Bowen, Jaden Osbury. It was those four, Viliamu-Asa off to the side. So not feeling totally optimistic about KVA's chances to play in the Sugar Bowl. You never know, but not looking good based on what we saw in practice.
Yeah, if Notre Dame had a bye week or like another 10 days, you'd be saying, okay, he's getting in the mix. He's got some pads on. He's out there. Like I said at the top of all this, the game's 4 days away. That's not great. But for Rocco Spindler, it is. He had a lot of tape, I would say, on that ankle that he hurt in the Indiana game. But guess what? Billy Strouth had a lot of tape on his ankle. He's been playing with an injured ankle all year. Howard Cross, I think, we can include some of this because we did talk to some guys on Friday. Didn't see practice on Friday, but we talked to some guys from the Notre Dame defense on Friday. He kind of told us flat out, everybody's injured right now.
Yeah.
On both sides of the ball. If you're not dealing with something, then you haven't played a lot. And all these guys have played a lot. Howard Cross put it eloquently when he said, well, what are we, 13 games into this? We're going to be 14. Like that's just is what it is at this point. So that in mind, and all things considered, Jack, some of the other things that you saw from the Notre Dame defense today, I mean, does it look like they are prepared to play the biggest games of their lives in a couple days?
Yeah, I mean, regarding Cross, I mean, he had, again, a lot of tape on that ankle, but a lot of guys had tape on their ankles. He looked like he was moving fine. I was trying to discern, like, who has the better chance of playing. Like, our assumption is, like, they're going to go three-man rotation between Cross, Rubio, Donnie Heinisch. Between Sean Civillano, the freshman, and Armel Mukim, the sophomore, kind of who has a better chance of playing. Couldn't really discern that by watching individual drills. No real order of operations there. But the one interesting thing I saw, Al Washington kind of warned his defensive linemen during their firing off the ball drills. Like, Georgia has gotten 10 different guys to jump throughout the season this year, so the hard count is something they're very much consciously preparing for. Other than that, it's kind of business as usual for the Notre Dame defense. I mean, they're going to have 3 of their 4 best pass rushers out for this game. It's going to be a tough assignment for them, but if anyone has proven up to the challenge of losing guys, it's this defense.
So one more thing on Spindler. I keep going back to this because that's the main thing that I watched today. Sam Pendleton was taking backup center snaps behind Pat Coogan, which is business as usual. So if Pat Coogan were to go down, heaven forbid, somebody's got to snap the football. It'd probably be Pendleton. But we saw Pendleton come in for Rocco Spindler against Indiana. So if Spindler tweaks that ankle to the point of not being able to play, could it be Pendleton? Probably. But I do want to note that Charles Jagasaw was taking second-team reps at right guard today. So he's more in the mix, Jack, now than he was when you saw him last week and you were observing the Notre Dame offense. So I think that is important to note. He's getting more and more into the mix, and break glass in case of emergency. I wouldn't be totally shocked to see Charles Jagasaw playing a football game, especially, like I said, Notre Dame's going to be playing till January 20th, if that's as far as this season takes them. A lot of things can change in the next 3 weeks. That's all I'll say there. Yeah. Some other things, Blake Hebert was supposed to be practicing with the Notre Dame quarterbacks. Of course, he's the incoming freshman with this Notre Dame 2025 class. Didn't see him out there, but what I did see was the usuals, obviously, Riley Leonard, Steve Angeli, Kenny Minchie. Those are your top 3 guys right now. CJ Carr, still trying to battle back from that elbow injury. He throws when the quarterbacks are throwing to each other. This is the most blunt way I can put it. When it's time to throw to Notre Dame pass catchers, wide receivers, running backs, and tight ends, like in actual team drills, not doing that. He'll throw a 5-yard pass if it's a little drill where guys are trying to work on their get off and get up the field and go. That's about all he's doing right now. So, and then another note on the quarterbacks is Anthony Rizak is serving as Gunnar Stockton. He was wearing number 14. Gunnar Stockton wears number 14 for Georgia, making his first career start for the Bulldogs in the Sugar Bowl. Pretty much wraps up the offense. No other surprise injuries or any surprises otherwise. In terms of defense, anything else that kind of sticks out that you saw?
Yeah, just on the freshmen, or incoming freshmen, I should say, who were there. It looked like Madden Farimo was there, who, of course, committed to Notre Dame and signed on National Signing Day. 2 safeties, Jadon Blair and Ethan Long. Blair, 4-star, Long, a 3-star, and Notre Dame's obviously excited about them. They were there at practice. I think that's becoming more commonplace around the country, the early enrollees coming in for bowl practice. But no, because just kind of status quo. We didn't see a whole lot of practice, and Notre Dame is just getting in gear. They will travel to New Orleans tomorrow, as will we, and we'll be there to cover the Sugar Bowl all week.
Yeah, the last thing that I'll say about this practice that we saw was it's very much a grapple between wanting to go all out, knowing that you're playing the team that's won 2 of the last 3 national championships, while also trying to dial back, stay healthy, just kind of make sure that your body is ready for this one. Because Joe Rudolph, when I was watching the offensive line, he actually got onto some Notre Dame scout team defensive players and said, whoa, we're not doing that today. I think it was actually when they were going up against Rocco Spindler, because obviously you're trying to preserve these guys. You're trying to get them to the point of where they can play their best football. In New Orleans, on New Year's Day night, a late game, but we will be there, as Jack said, to cover it. Can't wait. The next time that you see us on this Blue and Gold YouTube channel, we will be in New Orleans. Definitely check out our content at blueandgold.com. Until then, though, because we got a lot of written recap coming from these last 2 days at Notre Dame. So we will see you guys in New Orleans.